welcome back to my channel with my sister.
Woo!
This has been something that we've been wanting to do for a long time. It's actually sweet because a while ago I was like, not really like serious, but kind of like, oh, someone wants me to do a Q&A with you. And you were like, I'll do it. I was like, really? You want to do that?
I'm a little nervous.
Are you nervous?
I am.
Because you don't know what the questions are and how juicy they might be. I asked on Instagram, per usual, for y'all to ask questions, but I normally go through and I like screenshot the best ones. I just screenshotted all of them.
Oh my goodness. If I'm like really awkward answering these, no judgment.
A lot of people don't know just simple basic things about you. So we're going to start with the rapid fire, just like lay the groundwork, and then we'll get into the details. How old are you?
I am 23.
How old am I?
You are 26.
A lot of people thought Jacqueline was the older one. Just because she's the married one with adult job doesn't mean she's the older one. Speaking of job, what is your job?
I am a auditor, I guess, a public accountant.
And are you allowed to say which of the big four you work for? Is that like
I think I am.
Okay. Well, who do you work
EY.
for? How long have you been married?
1 year, almost exactly.
Almost exactly 1 year. When did you and your husband meet?
High school, senior year of high school.
Oh, where'd you go to college?
I went to A&M.
Mm-hmm. Where'd your husband go to college?
He also went to A&M. Mm-hmm. Good old Aggies.
Yeah.
Now y'all know me, so we can end the vlog.
The end. Have you always gotten along as sisters? What would you say?
We've always been like pretty nice to each other as sisters.
Yeah. Would you say we were really close as kids?
Honestly, not really.
That's what I think.
I was talking to, who was I talking to the other day? And I was like, honestly, I don't know where Mikel was during my childhood. We're really close to our cousins, Jack and Alice.
Yeah.
And I feel like I grew up with them. And I was like trying to think of like memories with them. And I was like, why am I only thinking of like me, Jack, and Alice? Like, where was Mikel?
Literally, I was with the adults.
Yeah.
You know, I was in like a lot of like theater productions and like whatever. Like I was a working girl. I do think I was incredibly annoying and pretentious and conceited because, let me explain.
Just unleash it, okay?
No, like looking back on me as a kid, I like give myself the ick because I would be like, I'm too good to play. Like, I'm gonna sit with the adults and talk with the adults. Like, I don't like playing with children. We didn't have a third sibling, so it wasn't like we were like ganging up on each other or whatever.
Yeah.
We were always nice and friendly to each other. But I feel like just this last year is when we like really actually became friends.
Yeah, because you were just kind of always
gone
somewhere else.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we didn't like fight.
We didn't fight.
Yeah.
We would occasionally get annoyed at each other. Like, I remember...
But who doesn't get annoyed at a sibling?
Literally. Like, that's like what a sibling is.
That's what you're meant to do.
Yeah. How is your job? You're 1 year in. Someone said, is it everything you desired?
I came into it with awful expectations. It's kind of like a stereotype that with public accounting, you're gonna like work super hard. So we have what's called a busy season. We audit like big companies, and so whenever it's their year ends, they have to like release their financial statements, and we're the one that audits them. And so we have like a season where all of that happens. Yeah, so I went in that expectation like I was not gonna have a life. Like I would work until midnight and work all the weekends like for like 6 months out of the year. But I like went into it with those expectations, so like that was probably good for me. And it actually has been a lot better than that. Like I haven't had to work too many weekends, and sometimes I work pretty late, but
you had, I feel like, a month that was like pretty bad.
it like fluctuates. So
yeah,
that's like the hardest thing is you can't really be in control of your life, I guess. Like because like some days you can like make plans for the weekend and like be excited, and then like your manager could tell you on a Friday that you're working that weekend, and you're just gonna have to like go along with it. Like you can't really.
It would almost be mentally easier to be like, okay, for these 4 months I'm gonna not have a life and just get, instead of be like, oh wait, I might have a little bit of free.
Yes.
Oh wait, maybe not.
Which is also really hard. Like I feel like I made the mistake of like committing to plans, and then I feel really bad if like I have to cancel, and like I feel like a lot of people don't understand like I literally don't have a choice. Like I have to like actually like keep working. But overall I think it's been like great. Like I love the people I work with, and I think that Austin culture is a lot more laid back, which is really nice.
That is really nice. Do you share any of the same health concerns as me? We share one. EDS.
We do?
Oh, we have not gone through. You have to see a geneticist to get a formal diagnosis of EDS. And we've just had doctors tell all of the members of our family multiple times, like, you probably have this. And like we do like the like weird tests, whatever. But you had to get jaw surgery for your jaw. And you also had to like monitor your heart for a while too, which is correlated, right?
Oh, yeah, but that turned out to not really be anything.
It wasn't a big thing.
Mm-mm.
But otherwise, I got all the issues. Do you feel like I got special attention, A, being like more of like the sickly kid, and then B, being like the like actor, like center of attention kid?
Honestly, probably.
Yeah, I feel like I did too.
But I feel like
You're
I've
just
always
easy.
been like independent, kind of. So, which I was fine with. I could kind of just do my own thing.
Yeah. In which ways do you think we're really similar, and which ways do you think we're really different?
One thing we're similar was we have the same Enneagram.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh.
We're both threes.
There we go.
So we're both very, you said independent, which is what made me think of that question. We're both very like driven. Mm-hmm. We want to achieve. We want to be successful. We both like graduated college early. We both, you know, took summer school always, top of our class.
Yeah, other than that, we're
Similarities.
probably different in most ways.
What would you say are like the primary differences that stand out to you?
Well, I feel like I was always the quieter, like, I liked sports growing up. Like, I went to, like, A&M, like, the traditional, like, Texas girl, and you've always had more of, like, a, like, California heart, you know, like, wanting to, like, move out to different places, and...
Yeah. I feel like you fit into, like, our like, mom and dad's interests a lot more. Like, they're athletic, they like tennis, that was your sport growing up. I feel like I was a little bit of the black sheep of the family.
Yeah. Like, I guess, like, being more Texas, like, I like all the authentic, like, hole-in-the-wall spots, and, like...
I was always bougie. I was a bougie
like,
kid.
I love being outside, and, like, I guess you're more of, like, the, let's find the cute Austin spots, and the...
That leads me to another question that I saw earlier is, do you feel like we had, like, competition in any way growing up?
Honestly, not really, just
Or
because
rivalry.
we had just, like, very different interests.
What do you think has been the best thing that has strengthened our relationship?
I would honestly just say you being in Austin, because there is, like, a 7-year, probably, stage in our life where, like, lived in different states, so we just saw each other, like, twice a year, maybe.
Yeah. I'm okay moving states. Like, I don't get too sentimental about towns or cities, but I know this has been our first opportunity for us to really, like, have the proximity and adulthood to become friends. But it also makes me feel better knowing that you don't want to stay in Austin.
Yeah, once the kid stage comes way far down the road.
Which, that was another question. Is,
Oh, okay.
What are your plans? Do you want, you got married really young? Do you want to have kids young? What's the vibe?
Mark and I probably want to have kids, like, around, like, 29-ish. So, like, later in life.
Which is still so young.
I know. See, I'm 23 right now, so that's, like, still, like, 6 years down the road. It sounds like a long time.
Fair.
And we just really liked the way that we grew up, and so we both want to move out to a small town whenever we have kids, too, so.
Yeah. So that makes me feel a lot better selfishly, being like, I'll probably never live in a small Texas town.
Yeah,
So
I don't think you will.
I don't think I will.
Yeah. Mark's dream is to own a ranch. So.
Like as far away from people as possible.
As many acres as possible.
What is the most surprising thing about your first year of marriage?
Honestly, probably like how easy it's been. Like we really, like we have not fought or anything, which seems kind of crazy. I don't know. It's just, it's been like easy. It's just been fun. I feel like it's been just a good year, which is fun.
That's really sweet.
Like Mark and I really don't like bicker at each other. It's because we really don't take each other like too seriously, which is really nice. Like I feel like we can just like poke fun at each other if like one of us says something like that was probably out of hand. We're like, really? And we're like, okay, yeah. You know, like it's like, don't let things like get to you too much. Just kind of like,
well, roll off.
Yeah.
A deeper question that a lot of people actually asked is, did it make you feel any sort of way that I announced going through a divorce as you were like engaged and like a bride to be and like wedding planning and in that whole season? I always felt like kind of guilty that maybe it was taking away from your season of like joy as a bride.
No,
you know
honestly,
what I mean?
I really didn't even like put those two and two together. Like,
like independent.
Like that was something different. My thing was, you know, like I didn't really think like that, I guess.
Yeah. When you first heard, what was your initial impression? Were you surprised or were you like, yeah, that makes sense?
I was, because you honestly like, which I totally understand, like weren't super like upfront with family, like that you were having like any sort of hardships with it. So honestly, I was just more surprised than anything, because like you hadn't like told me that there was any issues until you like, I remember being in college and I was sitting outside and you called me and you're like, hey, like things are not looking good, sort of thing. And that's like,
oh, I did?
Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
So I called you and said.
Okay. So that was like the first time I heard about it. And I was just honestly more surprised than anything.
Yeah. I do think that like for the majority of my marriage, I didn't even admit to myself that things are. I was very much like ignorance is bliss and like in denial. So I'm sure it was a little more surprising for the family.
Yes.
It's also good to be aware of when something is unhealthy and like have someone you trust to go to. But
Totally.
yeah, I do think I went to therapist way before I went to family.
Yeah, which is probably a good way to do it.
I think that's probably healthy. How do you think the dynamic would be different if you were the big sister and I was the little sister?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have had like a little bit more of an outgoing personality.
Maybe. I did speak on your behalf a lot.
You definitely did. So I feel like that turned me into more of just like a little bit of a quieter person, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. One thing that I was always jealous about you being the little sister is I would have to wait until I was 10 to be able to do something, and then you would be able to do it at 7.
True.
Or like whatever. So I feel like you got a lot of perks being the little sister. What is your funniest memory of us as kids?
She would love if I was annoying her, which honestly, don't know how I was annoying you that much. I guess I would like follow you around sometimes.
I remember getting annoyed that you'd want to copy everything I did.
It's flattering.
I was an influencer.
You really were. I was the first person to be influenced. You would suggest if I ignored her to play hide and go seek.
It's pretty brilliant.
And then she just would not come look for me. So I would be like stuck in like a laundry chute for like 2 hours thinking I was just dominating the game. But she was really clever. So she would like come up with random things like, Jacqueline, like let's play together. I have this really good idea. How about you be like my personal servant? It was just great.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yep.
The thing that scares me about myself is I have always had like the ability to be incredibly manipulative should I choose. And I think it's a mixture of like I know. I think it's a mixture of like I would call myself like emotionally intelligent as a child, but then also like growing up in acting and everything, I really learned like character development and like how to portray a situation.
And I just go along with it really easily, apparently.
And I choose hopefully to not be manipulative now, but I do think I, dabbled in that as a child.
Oh my gosh, as a child, she just was really good at that. You would also like give me makeovers, but like personally botch them.
I remember I made you George Washington once.
Her and Jack together with the makeovers. Awful. I would turn out to look terrible. And then the cool thing is they also like did a makeover for Alice.
It made her beautiful.
Yes, and I was just looking like George Washington, and she was like a little model.
I was talking to Jordy this morning about literally what you just said about like how I don't remember playing with anybody. And I was like, but I don't remember playing in general. Like I don't remember doing anything fun. And I was like, the thing I remember doing is like makeovers, or I remember my favorite memory as kids with you would be where me, you, Jack, and Alice would play the game in the kitchen.
Oh, that's
we would
a fun
have
game.
one ingredient that it was like chopped.
Yeah.
There was like a basket ingredient. We all had to cook something with it. But Jack would always get bored and like make something absolutely disgusting that we'd all have to eat.
Shout out to Jack. We
Shout
love
out
you.
to Jack. Here's a good question. Have I ever given you any like really good advice?
I can't even think of advice you've given me recently.
You don't really come to me for advice.
No, I don't. That's me just being self-sufficient.
Yeah. I feel like I actually come to you for advice more than you come to me for advice. Things that we admire about each other. I admire that Jacqueline is so hardworking. And I think I admire that so much because that is like one of the things that I value most in life. And that you have a goal and you stick to it and you do it really well and you do it really quickly and efficiently. And like, you don't let any excuse get in the way of something that you want to do, which I think is really cool. You conquer a lot of different areas too. Like I feel like someone with your work ethic would maybe then like not be in a relationship or not be healthy or like not have like a clean home or like, but somehow you do it all.
Oh,
you do. You really do. And I mean, maybe this is like just a 3 admiring a 3, but like you really juggle a lot and you juggle it so well.
Well, thank you.
And I think it's very impressive.
You have like a pure good heart.
Aww.
And I feel like
even though I was emotionally manipulative as a child,
like you do want to put people first, and you're super sweet and generous with people, which I admire a lot. And I think you're just like a sweet sister. Like I know that you love me, which is sweet and a sister.
Oh, we don't say nice things to
We
each
don't.
other ever.
And I feel really awkward.
Ooh, what are your thoughts about me doing YouTube? Does it ever make you uncomfortable? About me like vlogging or incorporating you into videos or anything like that? What are like the goods and the bads of that from your point of view as my sister?
I mean, I don't really mind it.
Yeah.
I might like envy your life sometimes because I'm like, wow, she gets to travel again.
Yeah.
I don't mind when you pull out the camera. I might get awkward sometimes, so I'm sorry if y'all have to.
I will
watch
say
that, but
I will say you are one of the most supportive people of me and my job.
thank
I
you.
feel really uncomfortable vlogging around most people. You and Jordy are neck and neck for like people that I feel genuinely so comfortable vlogging around. And then like after that is like Anna and Kayleigh, I feel very supportive of that. And like after that, like mom and dad sometimes. And then after that, like nobody. Like I don't want to put anybody into that position. I don't know how they feel about it, but you're always so game and so sweet. And well, even
thank you.
like yesterday we were filming a vlog and you were like, or I was filming a vlog and you're like, we could show them my apartment if you want. And I was like, actually, that is so great. It makes my job so much easier today because that's interesting
good.
and that's fun. And
I'll
it was
come
your
up with more
idea,
suggestions.
and I didn't have to ask it of you.
We'll do like car tours next. And
Oh,
no
sweet.
kidding.
You actually do have a very clean car. Ooh, okay, I don't know exactly what this means. If this means about with like boys or with each other, but we should do this about each other.
Okay.
What are each other's icks? Do you have any
Icks.
icks? I've got to think if I have any icks about you.
What if you just start spitting them out?
Growing. Oh, I have an ick about you.
Oh, gosh.
I have an ick about you.
Okay, you go first. Then.
You brush your teeth so aggressively. So
I do.
aggressively that when
I
we
do.
shared a bathroom growing up, there would be like toothpaste splatter everywhere on the mirror. And I would clean it all the time, and then you'd come brush your teeth again and just.
I have terrible gums. I've messed myself over. Thanks to my sweet, lovely husband, I have converted, because that drove him crazy too,
Yeah.
to an electric toothbrush.
Has it helped?
I think, but I still think I still like really
Do it a little too aggressively?
I guess you're very comfortable with sharing any
Like oversharing? Is that an ick?
not really. I mean, I guess you're just like, if you have like sickness or something, she'll not leave out a single detail.
Okay, and you can be honest here, what are your thoughts about me and Jordy and me dating Jordy?
I mean, honestly, I think it's been really good because y'all, like, I feel like have a lot of the same interest and, like, y'all, like, understand each other super well. Like, I feel like us being different. Like, sometimes I don't, like, fully understand, like, some of the things that you, like, are important to you and stuff. But he, like, understands. Or, like, whenever, like, there's something that's bothering you, like, I feel like his mind kind of works the same way, and so like it's good for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that came out weird. Like y'all are just very compatible and like have the same interest. And like if you get flustered with something that like maybe like I wouldn't be able to fully understand, like I feel like he like knows like the right things to say to you, and
Yeah.
which is good.
Really quick, what does your husband do? What does Mark do?
Mike works for a company called Q2. He does software sales for them, but he's like the lower level guy right now. He likes it a lot.
He's a great salesman. He is such a 7 with a strong wing 8, but such a 7.
I mean, I like hanging out with people. I like hanging out with people that I'm close to, but like new people, like I would just rather not hang out with new people. And he like gets so excited,
All
like
the
just
time.
wants to hang out with as many new people as possible. So like that's how we like differ a lot, but which makes for a good salesman. So
Great salesman. Yeah, he could literally like charm a wall. This one isn't deep or anything, but what's one piece of advice that you'd give to someone starting a CPA journey?
the tests take a long time and they're like hard to study for, but like if you can just like try to get through them like as fast as possible, and like don't dwell on like any area that you get stuck on, just like move on, and like because you're gonna have a better time taking the test just like remembering it because like you did it quickly versus like dragging it on for a long period of time.
This made me think of another question that seems completely unrelated but is actually very related, and I actually want to end with this one because it kind of feels like what you're saying, and that piece of advice is to take the emotions out of it a little bit, like not dwell, not get too stuck, don't get too frazzled. I would say that our family is a pretty non-emotional family. Like, we very much hide all negative emotions. We don't feel them. We don't talk about them, which in some ways I think is very healthy, and in some ways I think is very unhealthy. How would you say that has shaped you? And would you say that, like, that's something that you like about our family culture? Or do you wish that that was something that was, like, different? Because that's something I think about a lot, and I haven't really talked to you about that.
What has been kind of nice is I because of that, I am a pretty unemotional, which is nice. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I have pretty thick skin and, like, I don't really let it much get to me.
Life is a lot easier without emotion.
Yes.
It's also less genuine and fulfilling, maybe?
Yeah. But I also, like, if I do have any conflict, like, I genuinely would not know how to bring it up with someone.
Yeah.
Which might be, like, a downside. Just because I feel like I would personally just feel too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To, like, really talk to someone about, like, if something hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So I just don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's perks to it just because, like, you don't get as, like, affected by things. But then, like, the downfall is, like, yeah, you just really don't know how to talk to people if something, like, bothers you. So.
And inevitably hard things will happen in life. And in some ways we'll be better equipped. And in some ways we'll be completely ill-equipped to handle them.
Yes. Definitely.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is fun. I feel like I could talk for like 10 hours. I want to have a podcast someday and have you come on it sometimes.
Oh, sweet.
Would that be fun?
Sure, let's do it.
I can fly you out too. If I don't live here anymore, I can fly you out and we can call it a business trip.
Perfect.
Okay.
Love a good business trip.
Cheers to that. I know a
Cheers.
CPA that can help me business expense it.
Perfect.
Nice. I'm friendly.
Even though I have thick skin, apparently.
We have thick skin on the outside, but thin skin on our hearts.
Exactly.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.